If you're going to make a great soup, you need to start with a great stock. That's the basis, that's the liquid, that's the thing that holds the whole thing together. Now, right here, I have my pork stock, and I'm just going to take this hock. This pork hock has been boiling away in this stock for a good couple of hours, and it becomes really tender. So I've taken the hock out of here, and I'll let that cool down. And here you can see a rich, dark stock that's going to make my Korean pork soup delicious. Now, another pot is going here, and to that I'm going to add some onion. With the onion, I'll finely dice it so that it cooks quickly and all the flavour goes through the soup. The idea is to have a really good stock, and then the soup has some really good vegetables and flavour in it. So onion chopped nice and fine, and ginger, one of my favourite things. Ginger is so good for you and so nutritious. So I'll chop this nice and coarsely because I want to be able to taste those chunks of ginger. Garlic is really important in Korean cooking, and they use heaps of it. With this garlic clove, I'm just going to smash it like this and then chop through it really, really roughly. Now, I've got a pot that's already on, and to that I'll add some extra virgin olive oil, a good dollop of that, so that I can get the frying action of these vegetables going really quickly. In they go, and you can hear them starting to sizzle already. Carrot, ginger, garlic, and onion sweating off nicely. In goes a pinch of salt and some pepper. Now, this is kombu, which is dried seaweed. And I love using this because it gives it a real salty seaweed, umami type of flavour. And by umami, I mean savoury type of flavour that I love so much. And I just throw it straight into the pot here. Now, I used some of this kombu in the stock when I made it. This is one of the ingredients that makes it so delicious. In it goes, stir it around, and straight away you can smell that seed. Now, the kombu, as it cooks, will soften up a lot and fall apart, and it becomes almost like spinach. Now, another ingredient I like to use is wombok, which is an Asian-style cabbage. It's really, really nice. It's really sweet, and it's also used for kimchi. But I grab it and cut it into small pieces like this. I love the sweetness that it adds to the soup. I'll throw that in now and let that sweat off with all of these vegetables. You can smell the flavour is already starting to punch, and that's what I'm looking for. That's sweating off beautifully. Now, this is where it gets really exciting. These are some ingredients that I've picked up. This is a red paste called gochujang. This is what the Koreans love using, and this is what makes everything taste good. You can use it as a marinade on barbecues. I use it in my stock, but you can also use it in soups. A good tablespoon of that in there now. You'll get great colour, and that flavour and that spicy heat will come through as well. Another great ingredient is miso. I love using miso. And if you don't have time to make a stock, you can use miso as a stock base. So I'll use a good tablespoon of that as well. Now, kimchi is something you have to have in Korea. This is fermented cabbage, lots of chili in it, lots of flavour. It is one of the nicest things you could ever want to eat. There's plenty of garlic in there as well, so this is really healthy and really good for you. And I love the way it flavours my soup. In that goes as well. And for some flavour, some sweet soya sauce goes in there, a tablespoon of that, and a little bit of vinegar. In that goes. Now, this is starting to sweat off really, really well. And all I want to do is just wilt these vegetables down a little bit. And as they're starting to soften up now and all those flavours coming together, it's just time to add the stock. So this has cooled down a little bit. I pour in my liquid, and all I need to do now is wait for this to come to the boil. While I'm waiting for my soup to come to the boil, I'll grab this pork hock, pull the meat apart, chop a few herbs, and I'll show you how to finish it off. Okay, the soup's at the boil, so it's time to add all of the pork, and you're going to see there's tofu as well. I like tofu in this dish. It really gives it a great flavour. And if you're worried about me having tofu, well, have a look how much pork I'm putting in here. Now, in goes the tofu, and this will come up to the boil in a second. And I've diced the tofu quite small, so it heats up really quickly. And one of the most important things when you're making a great soup like this is plenty of herbs at the end. Coriander and spring onions, throw them in like that, and then all you need to do is stir them around once and twice, and as soon as this comes up to the boil, we're ready to serve it. Okay, the soup's come up to the boil and I know it's gonna be delicious. But when you pick it up like this, you can see all the goodies in there. Tofu, pork, lots of veggies, lots of herbs, and lots of flavour. That's the most important thing. You can imagine this soup being eaten in the coldest winter night, and you know once you've had a couple of bowls of this, you're gonna be full and very, very warm. All right, ready to taste it. Some pork, some tofu, and some veggies on there, and a little bit of broth. And one thing that's really, really important, the pork that went into this soup is Australian pork. That's what I like. Oh, that's fantastic. A little bit spicy, but jam-packed full of flavour. This is a fantastic soup.